So a lorry of mass 4 tons travels at a constant speed in a straight line with its engine producing a pulling or driving force of 2,000 newtons. What is the resistance to motion? Okay, so in A, right, it's clear there again, right, it says constant speed. So of course we know then, therefore, that the acceleration is going to be 0, yeah? Okay, when at constant speed. And if that's the case, if A is 0, think back to Newton's second law, F equals ma. Well, if A is 0, that means the resultant force has got to be 0. It's not accelerating, so there's no resultant force. So in other words, resultant force equals to 0. So in this case, it's got the driving force of the engine, and the engine produces this forward force of 2,000 newtons. Okay, what's the resistance of motion? So what is this resistance, like air resistance and so forth? Okay, well, if the resultant force is 0, that means these have got a balance. So in this case, quite simply, the resultant resistive force has got to equal to 2,000 newtons, yeah? Because they've got a balance given the resultant force is 0. Okay, in B, it says if the pulling force is increased to 6,000 for the lorry in A. Okay, so if this now changes to 6,000, okay, with the resistance remaining the same, then the lorry will accelerate. Okay, so the resistance remaining the same, in other words, the resistance is equal to 2,000 newtons. So it's saying the lorry will accelerate. Well, of course it will, because that pulling force is greater than the resistance. What is the acceleration of the lorry? So what we do is we apply Newton's second law of motion, right, in the direction it's going in, which is going this way. The driving force, so the pulling force, is 6,000. Take away then the resistance, okay, which is 2,000, same as in A, equals to then the mass. Now the mass I put there is 4,000 kilograms, yeah, because it's 4 tons, it says in the question. And remember, a ton is 1,000 kilograms. So 4,000 times A. And then it's a case then of just working that out. Well, that's easy. The left hand side is 4,000. The right hand side is 4,000 A, which means then A, of course, has got to equal to 1. Okay, 1 meters per second squared. Okay. And then it says then in C, find the normal reaction between the lorry and the ground. Well, here's the ground, yeah. And if it has forces going vertically, then we can see it's obviously going downwards would be the weight, which would be the mass, which is 4,000 times gravity times g, and of course then the reaction will be going upwards. We'll call that N, okay, not to confuse with the resistance there. So N for normal reaction, and of course they've got a balance, aren't they, because that road is supporting that truck. So in other words, N has got to equal to 4,000 g. Okay, they will balance there. The normal reaction will balance that. So N will equal to 4,000 times 9.8, which will equal to 39,200 newtons.